Hello guys, my name's Alex and today in just 10 minutes I'm going to give you all the basic skills you need to play Arena of Valor. This will be the first video in a series dedicated to teaching you the ins and outs of how to play the game. I recommend this guide for anyone new to the game or interested in trying it out. Now before we get started, I just want to say thank you to all the people that posted feedback in the Arena of Valor Reddit about what topics you're all interested in learning about. It's great to see so many of you showing an interest in the game. Shout out to Salvation in Dreams, whose feedback was the inspiration behind this week's episode. I'm going to give you guys a quick outline of what I'll be talking about in this video. First, we'll take a quick look at the map of Arena of Valor. Just a quick rundown. I won't get into too much detail because honestly, things like jungle camps and jungle tactics aren't what you need to be learning about yet. You guys need the basics first. Then I'll give you 5 things you need to be doing in your matches. These 5 skills are the bare minimum that you need to know in terms of how to go about winning your games. Nothing else you do in a match will actually matter if you don't make sure you're doing these 5 things in your matches. Alright, now that we know what's going on, let's look at the map. So, I've made things simple for everyone and color coded the important things on the map. Everything in white is a location on the map. Basically, it's part of the map you'll be walking around and fighting in at some point during your games. The main locations to remember are your team's base, which is located in the bottom left of the map, the enemy team's base, which is located in the top right of the map. Just remember that when you're playing a game of AoV, from your point of view, your base is always going to be in the bottom left, and your enemy's base is always going to be in the top right of the map. Next up, we've got the lanes. First is the middle lane. This is the lane located in the middle of the map, which runs from your base all the way up to the enemy's base. Then you've got bottom lane. This lane runs from the bottom left of the map in your team's base, in an L shape up to the top right of the map, the enemy team's base. Then lastly, you have top lane, which is identical in shape to the bottom lane, except that it runs from the bottom left of the map in an upside down L shape up to the top right of the map. You've also got the 4 jungle locations, 2 located in your team's half of the map and 2 located on your enemy team's half of the map. But we won't worry too much about the jungle yet because it's something you don't need to know too much about yet. Now in yellow, we've got 2 buildings, one in your base and one in the enemy's base. These are both called the core, and to win the game in Arena of Valor, you need to destroy the enemy team's core. Now please remember this point, guys. The game won't end until you destroy the enemy's core. It doesn't matter how many opponents you kill during a game or how strong your hero becomes, the only way to win is to destroy the enemy team's core. Now last up in red, we've got objectives. There's a few located on the map. We've got towers. There's 6 towers in each lane, which start at the halfway mark in each lane and then run up all the way to your base and the enemy team's base. Then you have the Dark Slayer and the Abyssal Dragon. You don't need to know what they do yet, just remember this point for now, guys. Killing objectives gives your team an advantage and brings you one step closer to destroying the enemy team's core. Okay, so now I'm going to give you guys a list of the 5 most important things you need to know during a game of Arena of Valor. Like I said early on, nothing you do in a game will actually help you unless it's one of these 5 things. Now I've listed them in order of importance, but you might notice that they actually complement each other if you go from the bottom to the top, where destroying the core is the main goal here. Let's go through each one in a bit more detail. So I'm going to use some game footage of a match to help explain my points. When we start a match, we start inside our base. Then it's up to you. Just choose whatever lane you want to go into and walk towards that lane. Now pause. See that building I'm next to right now? That's our team's core. Now if you look at the map in the top left of the screen, you'll see that all the way in the top right of the map is the enemy team's core, just like I showed you in the map overview. Our ultimate goal is to destroy that building. The game won't end until we do. But then you might ask, but Alex, why can't we just go and destroy it now? Well, that's a good question. The way it works is that we can't actually damage the enemy team's core until we destroy all of the enemy towers, that's these things here, in at least one lane. Now here's another good question, but why don't I just start attacking their towers now? Well, that's because the towers can actually defend themselves. They attack you if you are in range of them, and trust me, they're very strong. If you try to attack them by yourself, you would die in about 3 seconds. And that's where these little guys come in. These are called creeps or minions. They are small soldiers controlled by the game. They spawn from your base into each lane and attempt to run into the closest enemy team's tower until they die. A new wave spawns in every lane every 30 seconds. The same goes for the enemy team as well. If they manage to reach a tower, the tower will attack them instead of you, making it much easier to destroy that tower. And that's basically the flow of the game. Constantly trying to find a chance to destroy the enemy team's towers until you reach their core. Now this is all I'm going to talk about in regards to creeps at the moment, because I'll go into depth about them and other similar game mechanics in the next episode. This guide is for you guys who Arena of Valor might be your first MOBA, so I want you guys to understand the actual basics first. So let's go over objectives. Now there are two main types of objectives in Arena of Valor. Let's stop the video right here. So I've already showed you the first type of objective, which was the towers. Now this big monster here is one of the second type of objective. This is the Abyssal Dragon. You also have another monster type objective near the bottom left of the map called the Dark Slayer. These monsters are similar to towers. Depending on what hero you are using, they can't really be killed as one person. You will need your teammates to help you kill them, especially in the beginning of the game. Killing these monsters gives your team extra gold, experience and a powerful buff, but I'll explain things like gold, items and levels in another video. Right now I just want you to remember that killing them makes your team stronger. Now this is my second tip. Killing these monster objectives makes your team stronger than the enemy team, which then makes killing the enemy team's core easier. Remember guys, each of these tips complement each other like a chain, with the end goal being destroying the enemy core. Now, let's talk about killing enemy players and what the real purpose of doing that is. So, I'm sure even you new players have been in this situation before in your first few games of Arena of Valor. You just killed 2 of the enemy players. Now what? I can guarantee that nearly all the time your next step has been to simply go back to lane and keep killing creeps. Or maybe teleport back to base for some reason because you might be a bit low on health. Now, let me be the first to tell you that this is the wrong thing to do. Here's a good example of what you should try to do. See that? After killing those players, my team immediately moves towards the Abyssal Dragon. Why? Because 2 of their players are dead, which means we outnumber them at the moment, which means they can't really stop us from killing the dragon. And this, guys, is the whole point of getting kills. Putting your team in an advantage over the enemy team where you can take an objective without them being able to challenge you. Now yes, it's true your teammates won't always be like this and think the same thing. They might just run off and kill creeps or do other silly things. If this is the case, just go to one of the lanes and try to push the tower down. That's the least you can do after getting a kill or 2. Now on to our last 2 points, which are a little bit simpler. First up, we have teamwork. Here's a simple way to remember it, although it might seem a little bit evil. Never fight fair. Always try to outnumber your opponents. The easiest way to do this is to stick with your teammates. After the first 2 minutes or so of the game, try to group up with them and look for some kills. Here's a good example. I see this enemy hero middle lane that I'd like to kill, so I make my way over there. My teammates see this and join me. Now, if they didn't come with me, I probably wouldn't have killed anyone. But look what happens. Because I had my teammates with me, we didn't just kill one person, we killed their entire team. And then we get left with a huge advantage. We can take that middle tower there, we can take any objective we want, simply because we work together as a team. And that's what I want you guys to remember. You can achieve so much more as a team than by yourself. Now, on to my last point, which is fairly straightforward and simple. Don't die too much. Whenever you die, you can't do anything for a set amount of time. During this time, you are completely useless. You can't do anything useful for your team, and you make the game harder for yourself. Simple as that.
And that's it guys, all it took was 10 minutes for you to learn the basics of Arena of Valor. Let's recap real quick. Don't die too much, stick with your teammates, try to get kills, take an objective after those kills. Then doing all this will make killing the enemy team's core easier. Thanks for watching guys, I hope this video helped you or maybe even made you interested to play the game. I appreciate any feedback, so please don't hesitate, and if you liked the video, it'd be great if you could like or comment and subscribe to my channel. The button to subscribe should pop up soon. Thanks again guys, and I'll see you in the next episode where I go over creeps, gold and levels.